What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what really happened, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 6.2% alongside the broader market. So things are starting to really snowball out of control, where even a lot of big names are saying, what can actually stop this bleed? Because in the past we had trade, because a lot of people are comparing this sell-off to April of 2025. But luckily enough, Trump was able to say, hey, I got to deal with them, we're good. Nowadays, pretty much we're without a potential catalyst. So this downtrend could really magnify a lot more than what has actually occurred. This is why you're seeing a lot of institutions really exiting and not looking back. So SoFi today, high of 2040, low of 1919, 86.2 million for volume. But as I mentioned in my video yesterday and the day before, most of the volume is coming from algorithmic trading, and you can kind of see that very clearly from the flow. So big money again, kind of liquidating, but most of the damage is just being dragged down through algos. Today was largely just a lot of uncertainty coming from the Fed level and potentially Trump's kind of influence potentially on the Feds. We did have a lot of negative data, and as well the market was digesting Google's earnings. So a lot of big names are starting to flop. Even Amazon after hours is causing a little bit of a stir right now. So that's why SoFi during after hours is down about 2.78% at the low 4.6. So things could get a little bit more damaging for tomorrow again. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that does develop. But for today, we did have some data. So Challenger job cuts came in at 108, forecast of 43. Initial jobless claims 231, forecast of 214. And then Jolt numbers, which was supposed to come out on Tuesday, but because of the whole shutdown, it got paused and was posted today. But even that came in at 6.5 million versus a forecast of 7. None of that is good. And you can kind of tell that there is actually a lot of fear, because normally the market would take this negative labor data and spin it as a positive to justify a future rate cut. But that didn't happen at all. So there is a lot of legitimate fear that is happening in the broader market. SoFi didn't put out any news, nothing really speculative being posted online whatsoever. Actually, it looks like about 8 minutes ago, we just got this. So a Form 4, and let's see who did what. And so it looks like Eric did purchase, so transaction code P, so meaning they actually used their own money, so it wasn't awarded, wasn't anything. So this is actually pretty bullish actually. Maybe that's why SoFi's kind of recovering a little bit from the intraday or after hour lows. They did buy 5,000 shares, so definitely deserving of a round of applause, Eric. And so yeah, I think that's might be a pretty good thing, but still, if Anthony buys, that would be even better. But nonetheless, this just came out roughly around 5 minutes ago. So good to see. As far as shorts returned 216,000 shares. So I think shorts are laughing lately, because I think this is my opinion of what they are doing. So despite all the crap that's been happening, they've been returning almost every single day. So I think that they are freeing up room for when eventually the market does start to want to recover, they have more than enough ammunition to double and triple down. So I think that's kind of what their plan is. Possibly, I really hope not, but 9.04% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 112 million shares overall being shorted. Still two signs of manipulation. So shares on loan is less than number of shares being shorted. So you have naked shorting, and also cost to borrow minimum is negative. I know I do go through a lot of information fairly fast. If you ever want more detailed information, or if you have questions, just drop a comment. 39 million in calls, 52 in puts, and 43% of all the options being done are bullish in nature, which is kind of a good thing. There could be some hedging though, but from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 20 to 21 by the end of business day tomorrow, with tomorrow being Friday. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 18. So definitely a little bit of a battle come tomorrow. This is the open interest. And actually, there's no point really me bringing this up because there's not really anything. So don't anticipate any gamma squeeze or whatever else. These are all the big transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. No different than kind of yesterday. So the big ones you did see as buys, but I think overall there was some big groupings of some sells throughout here, especially on the dark pool as well. But 71.7, that one was the big one. Then 18.2, 14.2. So definitely good to see some bigger transactions. And then as far as the dark pool, big one, 7.9 million. And based on that, most likely that was a institution selling in the dark pool. And then a bunch of $3 million transactions. But right now with it at, or I guess where it closed at 1946, well, I guess it doesn't really matter whether it closed or even after hours. It is still, regardless, between this S2 and this S3. So 1744, that's going to be the next strong kind of support. And this is something, again, I did mention when it was roughly around $23. There was one of two scenarios at how their earnings could have played out. We were either going to see the 50-day moving average hit or potentially consolidation to kind of the mid-teens, mid to high teens. And that's kind of this S3 right here. So just watch for 1744. And most likely, this might be premature to say, but I feel like that is going to be a nice V-shaped recovery where SoFi would bounce off of and really push higher. Might not be tomorrow because Amazon earnings probably won't cause much recovery for tomorrow, but still, aside from that though, getting right to the actual chart, as I've mentioned, we're in free fall. Very similar layout to what happened in April 2025. And if we kind of compare what happened here, it went from around 11, 12 if you're rounding up to about 850, 860, that general range. So it did go down a good about 30-40%. So potentially if we're gonna again compare this, we were roughly around that kind of $26 range. So again, putting it in comparison, we could be bouncing off of maybe that $16-17 range. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you panicked? Funny enough though, back in April, I think I was just very overextended at that stage. Right now, I'm kind of cool as a cucumber. I know one thing that I've really mentioned, I don't really give advice, but really be very, very cautious if you're using margin. Days like this, and even just the last several days, that could be a absolute killer. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.